Good morning. Thank you for everybody joining us this morning. My name is Brent Gary. I'm the mayor and CEO of the city of West Richland. And we're gathered here today to have a follow-up on yesterday's events. And I'd just like to introduce the individuals that we have with us today. Of course, we have Chief Grego from the West Richland PD. We have Dr. Shelley Redinger, Superintendent of the Richland School District. We also have Eric Huizar, Benton County Prosecuting Attorney. And we have FBI Supervisory Senior Resident Agent Peter Orr. And we're fortunate to have his boss, FBI Kelly Smith, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, joining us this afternoon. So thank you, sir, for coming in. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Chief Grego.
Good morning. I called this press conference this morning to provide an update on the recent developments regarding the homicide suspect, Elias Huizar. Many of you are aware of yesterday's events in Oregon, led by the Oregon State Police. I'm delighted to announce that our collective intense efforts in close collaboration with law enforcement agencies have resulted in the successful conclusion of the search and safe recovery of the missing child, Roman Santos. The suspect was located approximately 2:20 p.m. by Oregon State Police, driving southbound on Interstate 5 near Eugene, Oregon. Oregon State Police attempted to initiate a stop and the vehicle fled, resulting in a high-speed pursuit during which the suspect exchanged gunfire with law enforcement. As the pursuit continued, the suspect's vehicle crashed, spinning into the median, and the suspect took his own life with a self-initiated gunshot wound to the head, and he is deceased. No law enforcement officers were injured as a result of the exchange of gunfire. The child was removed from the vehicle, and we are working with the appropriate agencies to reunite him with his family. We can also confirm at this time that the victim found in the residence in West Richland was Angelica Santos, the suspect's 17-year-old girlfriend and mother of the recovered child. Ms. Santos was also the victim of the rape of a child in the third-degree case. Ms. Santos' homicide is still under investigation, and specific cause of her death remains undetermined at this time, pending an autopsy. Our deepest gratitude goes out to law enforcement personnel who worked around the clock on this case, as well as the community members involved, whose vigilance and support played a crucial role in this resolution. I would also like to specifically give credit to the Oregon State Police and the Blaine County Sheriff's Office for their courage and commitment by putting their lives on the line in order to apprehend the suspect safely and recover Roman. While we're grateful for this positive development, my heart remains heavy with sorrow for tragic circumstances that have occurred and for the impact that it's had and will have in this community. Our hearts go out to all of those who have been directly affected by this event and the entire community. I'd like to personally assure the community that my department will continue to pour all available resources into addressing this matter and protecting our schools and our members of our community. Our investigation into this matter continues. I hope that the conclusion of this manhunt may serve as a catalyst for healing among all those impacted by this dreadful event. At this time, I'd like to have Dr. Redinger come up.
The past few days have been incredibly tough for our staff, students, families, and the entire Tri-Cities community. Our district has suffered a profound loss in the passing of Amber Rodriguez, a remarkable paraeducator at William Wiley Elementary, where she worked since September 2022. Our deepest condolences go out to Amber's family during this difficult time. As we navigate through this tragedy, our primary focus remains on providing support to the students and staff in our schools, with special attention to Wiley Elementary as they return to school today. We understand that the support needed may vary across the Richland School District, and we are committed to being responsive to the needs of all of our students and staff. I'd like to conclude by sharing some words from Paul Chartrand, our principal at Wiley Elementary. We will get through this. We will take our time and do this together. There is no timeline for what this looks like or how long it will take, but we need to lean on each other and do what is best for our kids. Thank you to our community for the continued support as our district begins to heal.
So at this time, I'll introduce Eric Huizar, the prosecutor of Benton County, and he can field questions.
Good morning. Any questions this morning? Yes, Mr. Probert.
Any idea on the timeline yet who was killed first, whether it was Ms. Santos or Ms. Rodriguez?
We are still working on that, so in terms of a specific timeline, in terms of which victim was killed first, I can't provide additional information about that this morning, but that is something that is being looked into. There is an autopsy that will be conducted regarding Ms. Santos' homicide.
Any idea what set this off? Like what the motivation was?
Yeah, so we're aware that he had, to specifically answer your question, we do not know specifically what the motive was or the reason was that this happened. That there were some pending criminal charges, and of course that there were some domestic matters that were pending in court. But specifically as to the reason, we're not aware at this time.
Was Ms. Santos still living at that house at the 2507 South Highlands?
That's undetermined at this time as well in terms of what her residential status was at the time of the homicide.
There was a restraining order or a protection order in place, correct?
That is correct. There was a protection order protecting Ms. Santos from Mr. Huizar.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Where did Mr. Huizar get the gun from?
That matter is still under investigation, so this is an active law enforcement investigation. We are still pursuing all of the leads. There's still a lot of work to be done in this case, and so at this point we do not have more information about that item. Yes, sir.
Is the 1-year-old still in OSP custody or returned to the family or returned to the Tri-Cities?
My understanding is that the 1-year-old will be picked up by Washington CPS, and that Washington CPS will be involved in a placement decision. In terms of the specific timing on when Roman will return to the community, I'm not aware of that information, but I would anticipate that it would be in the near future. Yes, sir.
Are there any resources like within the department for police officers that have gone through or are going through domestic violence?
Yes, there are resources. When agencies become aware that an officer is dealing with a domestic violence situation, and there are all kinds of procedures and protocols that go into place regarding what an agency should do. In terms of what happened in this specific instance, I'm not aware of those details, and so I can't speak to that here.
Do we know how many kids were outside at Willing Wiley when this happened?
We do not have a specific number, but unfortunately this incident occurred with several members of our community and of the Wiley staff and students that were present or nearby at the time of the incident.
Can you confirm that the 2nd degree and the 3rd degree are against the same person, or were those 2 different individuals?
Those matters were charged against 2 separate victims.
2 separate victims?
That's correct.
And we haven't identified the 2nd victim at all because it's a child?
So we have the identity of the victim in both the rape of a child in the 3rd degree and the rape 2nd, and those are separate victims on those 2 cases.
Okay.
Ms. Santos was the victim on the rape of a child in the 3rd degree case and is the homicide victim here who was recovered in the suspect's residence.
In the initial report, it says that the baby was reported missing Sunday at 5 p.m., but the incident happened yesterday. Is there anything to say, or happened Monday? Is there anything to say about that?
Are you referring to the Amber Alert?
No, before the Amber Alert. In the reports online, it says that the baby had been reported missing Sunday at 5 p.m.
So in terms of a specific timeline, I think that's something that still remains to be completely nailed down.
I was just curious if there was something that happened prior to the incident that happened on Monday.
Because this is still ongoing, we're still learning more about the situation. I don't have a specific answer for you at the time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
And is there going to be any additional resources being available to this school or to the West Richland community in general?
Yes, so the Richland School District is working with, I'll let Dr. Redinger answer that question. Thank you.
Yes, there's just been an outpouring of support, and so even today we have neighboring districts have counselors, social workers in our schools, and at the district office for families. Well, we also are working with the individuals that were right there and witnessed the event to actually have extra counseling.
And I have a follow-up question for you, Huizar. And today they're back to school as normal. Is there any resources being provided to them at school right now, or are they just going about school like a daily or ordinary day?
Oh, no, they're very far from ordinary day. So the focus is on coming together as family and working together. There are scripts that were provided to all of the teachers to start the day. So it's a community working together through this. It's real important to start getting back into your routine, but it does not look the same as every day. Yeah.
And so, yes, and that's a good question. Also, the police department, we were there this morning too. I was there. We brought in our therapy dog for the kids and stuff as they returned to school too, as well as I believe the school district also had a couple of therapy dogs.
Yes, the therapy dogs we found to be very instrumental. And after this hearing here, I'm going to go ahead and go to the school and check in on everybody. And right now, just lots of hugs and support.
Can you, Mr. Prosecutor,
Yes, ma'am.
could you please describe, like, after Huizar shot himself, was it apparent that he was immediately dead, or were there life-saving measures or some sort of ambulance transport after the incident?
I'm not aware of the timing between the self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head and his actually being pronounced deceased at the scene. So that's information that I do not have at the moment. I also don't have information about what life-saving measures were offered, but he did die at the scene of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
And could you confirm his police background for the record? I've seen various reports online, but I want to make sure that we're getting the correct information.
He was previously employed by the Yakima Police Department.
As an officer?
Yes. Yes, sir.
I was just curious, why was bail set for Huizar after the 2 p.m. press conference yesterday?
This was on which case?
The most recent one, the murder case.
So I'm not aware of the circumstances of yesterday's court hearing, but it would be typical that we would have a follow-up hearing after the filing of a charge. Obviously, that completely changed. These cases will be closed based on the circumstances of the death of Mr. Huizar, of course. Did that answer your question, sir? Okay, all right.
And then I have a question for you, Superintendent.
Yes.
Does the school district believe it needs to change their hiring for the background check policy?
We've been talking about that a great deal recently. Do I need to go over here?
Yes, if you would.
We've been talking about that a great deal with my team. We'll be debriefing. Today we actually have another meeting just to look at everything and make sure that we're not missing something and moving forward. Obviously, we don't want something like this to ever happen again. So we'll be looking at our processes and just making sure that we have all the layers we need to have confidence in who we are hiring. So, yes.
I have another question for you, Superintendent. Do you think this will change your guys' protocol moving forward, or will you guys' protocol stay the same?
That's what we're going to be meeting about and looking to see if there are things that we want to change. Yes.
Sir, is there any support for this young 1-year-old son? I know that's very young, but is there any kind of therapy or services or extra care for this young individual that was along for the ride, so to speak?
CPS will obviously be working on making a placement for the child, for Roman, but you're right to point out that this leaves Roman without a father or mother, and this is a child who is going to need support, and that is something that I'm certain will be addressed. As the superintendent indicated, there have been a lot of different agencies from around the community who have really rallied to help provide support in this situation. I'm sure that's going to be true for Roman as well.
And what about the other children?
I can speak to that. So we are already working with local agencies to help support the other children that are in our school system as well.
And there's two.
Two, yes. And so our hearts go out to them, but more than anyone, the three children, and so we will be doing everything we can to continue to support them.
And there's a boy and another boy or a girl? I'm sorry, I don't know what sexes these two children are. The other two children?
Yes, boys.
Two boys. And, do we have ages on them?
I don't know if I could share all of
Okay.
that. Yes, sorry. Yeah, just because of their ages.
Okay.
And then one more question about the background check. Knowing what you know now, will you be doing background checks again on the people that you've already hired?
Again, we're gonna be debriefing that today. Yes, going through and, yes.
Question for Prosecutor Eisinger.
Yes.
Do we know any more information about the potential sighting that had happened? I know there was a black sedan that was alerted by Portland police. Was there a switcheroo because he was found in the silver Corolla?
You mean in terms of how Mr. Huizar was apprehended?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a combined law enforcement effort from multiple agencies to locate the vehicle, and ultimately that led to Oregon State Police finding the vehicle southbound on I-5. And there were a number of details that led up to that. This case still is a pending investigation, so I'm not able to release all of that information at this time. But thankfully, due to the combined effort of all the agencies, we were able to find the vehicle and retrieve the minor child.
Do we know what he was doing in Oregon for that, in between the time he was first spotted early in the morning and 2:30?
So again, because this is an active, ongoing investigation, we are still looking into details, and I'm not able to disclose more information about his behavior between leaving Benton County and being apprehended. Yes,
So
ma'am.
there's no one implicated in aiding him or abetting him on his journey?
All I can say is the case is still under investigation. Law enforcement are continuing to look into this matter.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Now, it was reported that the baby was rescued safely, but
Yes.
how are the conditions of the baby right now, if we're able to know? Because this is a baby without a mother or a father right now.
My understanding, go ahead, Chief.
I was gonna say, this morning, the commander reported that, the baby stayed the night with them, and he's fine, and that, they're looking at, I believe, trying to get him picked up today by Washington State, so everything appeared to be fine. Right, Commander? I believe that was fine. Yes, there you go.
Do we have any, has there been any information about any planned funerals for the victims?
I do not have any of that information at this time.
Okay.
And I believe Mayor Gary indicated we have just a few more minutes for questions. Any final questions? Yes, ma'am.
Question for Superintendent Redinger.
Yes.
Do you plan to do an audit of the current volunteers and employees that you have?
They have to reapply every year, and so, but we will be looking at everyone just to, this is a very important, these are our most precious assets in our community, are our children, so we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep them safe.
As Prosecutor Eisinger stated, this is an ongoing investigation, and you can all expect further press releases as more details are found. So I do thank everybody for participating this morning, and we will conclude this press conference at this time. Thank you.